Hello and welcome to Noni Yanga's flagship talk show where we discuss all the hot topics. Today we're talking about one of our favourite subjects, relationships. We look at monogamous and polygamous marriages and ask which is a more realistic ideal of love today. And we also say, have our attitudes towards infidelity changed over the years? Joining me today, author and life coach Aisha Rebecca and presenter and producer Adefolake Otudeko. Welcome, ladies. Next time, tell me about the beauty memo, yeah? From a young age, most of us are taught that true love is the love of just one person and the coming together of two people who eventually live happily ever after. But is monogamy a false ideology of love? A polygamous marriage, which sees someone married to more than one person at the same time, is growing increasingly popular. And although not legal here in the UK, statistics show that more people are open to it. Is monogamy an unrealistic expectation for the 21st century? And is it still the only true example of love? Ladies, I want to be honest. We're all, I would say, beautiful ladies. We've had our fair share of relationships, me only one. But do you think monogamy is natural? Adefolake, let me come to you first. Is it natural?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I believe that monogamy is the way it's intended to be.
Why?
Well, because I feel like it's the only way where there are not issues and problems that come into the relationship. I feel like if you're with because monogamy is when you're with one person.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you're faithful.
You're faithful, one person at a time.
Yes.
One person at a time. So I feel like if you need to move on from that person, you can do that. But I don't feel like you should bring more people into the mix. It causes more trouble when it comes to children, when it comes to people's hearts. Jealousy is a very, very ugly thing.
Ah, it's ugly.
It's very, very ugly. And you don't want jealousy to start making the moves inside people's relationships, because I can't see it going well.
I feel like you're right, but I kind of feel like I should, especially these days, men, even women, you know, there's so much temptation. And it seems as if there are some girls that like married men, some men who are married like to be with girls that know they're in a relationship and they're just not faithful. So I agree with Folake 100%, but is that realistic? And not just is it realistic, is it natural? Is that the way men and women are designed, to have one partner at one time forever and be faithful?
Absolutely. If you're looking at it from a religious perspective, we are designed with one partner from the beginning of time. There's only Adam and Eve. But speaking in our generation today, it's not what it seems. Like you said, temptation is everywhere, on social media, on Instagram, on every single platform. You know, sex
just
is
coming at
sold.
you, man. Coming at you, coming at you.
But it brings us back to the importance of being in a monogamous relationship, because, like Falake said, it sets the pace for your next generation. And it's what you want to see yourself as. So it's up to you to believe that this is what I want for my children, for myself. So I'm basically setting a good example of what I want to see.
No, you're right. And I think that's important. For like, you know, we're lucky to have you. You're a new Noni guest and you've come from Nigeria to be with us. From Lagos, Las Gidi. I don't want to do too much of a shout out, but we've seen Yoruba Demons is coming out. And we know what a Yoruba demon is. If you don't know, it's typical guy, money, house, girls,
very
babes,
in every
the
way.
guy is even attractive self. But, you know, in that kind of lifestyle, babe, I'm sure you must know girls that are very happy to date married guys.
You would hear Lagos girls say things like, oh, I want to be with a married man because it shows that he's more responsible. You know, that's their reasoning behind it. And it happens a lot. But just because there's temptation doesn't mean you should do the wrong thing. Okay, if you're on a diet now, and there's cake right in front of you, and you love cake.
Is there cake somewhere?
You know what? You have to say, no, don't do it. It's discipline. So I feel like when you say, oh, it's not realistic, it's making excuses.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not realistic. You're talking about for men. It's not find men everywhere. Does that mean that I need to be with all of them? You find your person, you discipline yourself. That's what life is all about.
No, you're right, totally. Aisha, do you think that sometimes it depends on your experiences or the kind of girls we know or the background?
Yes, absolutely. It definitely has to do a lot with your experiences and what you surround yourself by. And also it has a lot to do with your partner and the type of man that you know your husband is or your partner is. And if you know that they're easily led to temptation, then definitely you wouldn't want him to be in Lagos where, you know, all the girls are just there. So where you know there's temptation, you try to flee from it as much as you can. And also it's very important to surround yourself with girls who are on the same platform as you. One of the things I had to do, which you probably will read about in my book. But
Plug.
but
Plug in.
But surrounding is really important,
Yeah.
and it will affect your relationship and keeping you in that place that you feel safe. But if he's in Lagos, you know, the party's alive, it's popping, the girls are there. So it does have an effect. Definitely.
It does have an effect.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason you said you're single, which I find very hard to believe. Don't worry, after this show, I'm sure your DM will be flooded. But, you know, if you've been in a relationship previously or going into a relationship, will you kind of be careful the kind of women you bring around your husband?
See, my worry is because, you know, I've been around a lot of newlyweds, and
Okay.
you see that they're worried about who you bring into their home. They're worried about you coming to their house. They'd rather meet up with you outside. Because they don't want their husband
Do
to
you
have
clock
that
that? Do they
temptation.
tell you they're doing that, or
They
you can
don't
clock
tell
this?
me.
They don't. But
I clock it.
Wow.
I notice it. I see it all the time. Or even if it's me, it's like, oh, you're bringing a friend. Don't bring a friend to my house. You can bring a friend if it's a guy. Don't bring a friend if it's a girl.
Wow.
It's like, okay.
Don't expose
You know?
me.
Don't put it right in front of my husband's face.
How do you feel about that as a single girl? Do you think that shows that someone's insecure, or because for some married women they say that's protecting their
I
marriage?
don't think it's insecure. I think it's being safe.
Okay, yeah.
I do think it's being safe, but then it worries me because I don't want to have to think about that. It's not my first thought. Maybe because I'm not married, or I'm not in a serious relationship. That is not my first thought to think. Oh, I don't want to bring this person around because I don't want her to snatch my man. You know,
Gosh.
it's
quite serious, but it's a very serious discussion and a topic that's ongoing within our community. But lastly, before we go to the break and we'll move on, so do you think monogamy does exist? I don't want the fairy tale dream, because of course we all want that. We all want our husband to be faithful and love us forever and ever and ever and ever. And he would like that too.
Yeah.
But does it exist?
Yes, it does. Monogamy does exist. It does, but you have to find the right person, the person who wants to be monogamous with you.
Yeah.
And if you're married to the wrong person, then you
You're
will
in
not
trouble.
have that fairy tale dream. You both have to be on the same page. So positive and positive, negative and negative. So it's important that your partner or your
What if
husband.
it's positive and negative together?
Then you have a catastrophe. Really.
Do you think monogamy does exist?
I believe it exists, but there's a philosophy that it's outdated.
That's right.
I think we're going to continue that after the break. Still to come, we continue our discussion by exploring polygamous relationships and the rise in its acceptance. And we look at infidelity. Is it one striking you out, or is leaving a cheating partner much harder than it seems? See you after the break. Welcome back to Noni. Now, for many cultures and some religions, polygamous marriages are very common. Unlike an open marriage, the ideal behind a polygamous one isn't solely focused on intimacy, but on the romantic relationship with more than one person where love is the foundation. Can you really love more than one person at a time? Is this kind of relationship a more realistic example of love today? Now, we've got to be sensitive to our Muslim viewers. We've got many of them.
Of course, yeah.
But polygamy, I know so many people who have come from polygamous homes. They say it's caused lots of problems. It splits up marriages, divides siblings. But there are some people, Folake, that say that's something they would be open to. Do you think you can love more than one person? Do you think polygamy, can work?
Like I said, I feel like, yes, you can love more than one person. No, I feel you can,
Wow.
but it's a discipline thing. It's a discipline thing.
Tell me.
Because I haven't seen a polygamous relationship that hasn't had a terrible effect on the kids, terrible effect on the wives. I can't see it working and just being like, the sister wives thing, like all the wives are happy together. And I feel like that's unrealistic. That's more unrealistic than monogamy. So even if you can be in love with more than one person, there's going to be that person that you know
really love,
that you know you're supposed to be with, and you have to just let the others go.
What do you think about polygamy, Aisha? Because even in Nigeria, throughout Nigeria now, I think there is a new law that's in place. Obviously, somebody write in if I'm getting this incorrect, but you have to be earning a certain amount of money so you can take care of all the wives. There's no longer like a senior wife and the rest are junior. You've got to be able to look after them. But do you think there is something in polygamy? Is it something that we should accept?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
And that's just my opinion. Don't beat me for it. But I mean, I have not grown up around in a polygamous home, so I will not be able to speak from that perspective. But from the outside of what I've seen, I think it does have a serious effect psychologically on children. And if you're thinking about your children, you would think on the long run, not the fact that you're enjoying that you've got so many wives or, you know, partners or whatever it is, but you're trying to raise responsible children that will become responsible adults.
Yes, of course.
And if you're teaching them this, it's not wrong, it's not right, but what rules do you have in place in your house?
And it's not something that works for you or you accept.
No, absolutely
if we
not.
kind of take this away from religion and we look in the West, we're in the UK, there is a stat that says 12% of British men and 4% of British women would like to be in a polygamous marriage, and 1 in 20 men and 1 in 50 women would like to have 2 married partners. So these are people that kind of believe in marriage, but just kind of feel like, if I could marry somebody else, is that a fantasy?
Yeah, I think it's purely a fantasy that they probably have
Sexual?
in their head. Yes, absolutely. You know, some men, they think about different things, but that doesn't mean that they should go ahead and do it, act upon it. And some of them probably will act upon it eventually if, you know, they can't control themselves. So statistics are probably right.
Do you think, Folake, that and going back to Nigeria, you know, we're Nigerian here, so it's easy to use that as kind of the pillar of discussions. But do you think sometimes some women just think, I want him, nobody else can have him, I don't mind if I'm the second wife, because you see a lot of these big men, not Yoruba demons, some are Igbo, some are Hausa, but you know, they've got lots of money and they've got the cash to splash, and there's a girl that's willing to, you know, be second or third.
And I tell you that I believe that they have just convinced themselves.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that that is what they truly believe, or even let's not even talk about marriage. Let's just talk about a relationship. Let's just talk about a relationship.
Oh yeah, talk.
When you meet a guy and he's maybe saying he's not ready for a relationship, or he wants to go into an open relationship, because you love every other aspect of what's going on, a lot of women would say, yeah, I'm cool with that. Let's do it. And it's most likely, because women, when they put their heart in something, a lot of the time they put their all into it. So most likely they're not the ones that are in the open relationship. It's very one-sided. It's only the guy that's going out and mingling. And when they come back and tell you that, oh, I just had a connection with this girl outside, it's gonna sting.
Do we do women a disservice by thinking that they would really care about their husband cheating? Some women, I don't think they're crying at the back. Some women are the ones doing the cheating.
Yeah, some women are the ones doing cheating, but I think
men alone.
No, we can't. But I think it also has to do with is it emotional cheating? Is it physical cheating? Is it both?
It depends,
so
doesn't
many
it?
aspects. It really depends.
It's funny because even now, you know, and again, moving it away from religion, talking about being in the UK, there's a new series on the BBC called Wanderlust, where it actually does talk about open relationships, open marriages. And I do wonder, you know, if this is something that is becoming more popular. There's a reason why we're discussing it today, because I think people are more open to it. But I do think you're right, Folake. I think, you know, you touched on a point where you said, I think sometimes women are accepting of it, aren't they? They kind of, they're so in love with somebody, Aisha, that they're just willing to accept and doing anything. So even though you might see on the outset like, oh, she's accepting it, she's not, she's just broken.
Exactly,
she's
exactly.
broken.
And a lot of women are broken and they will accept in their broken pieces. So if a man's cheated on you several times and you've done everything you possibly could to stop him from cheating and he's still cheating on you, you'll accept it. You think, oh, I can't be bothered, just get on with it. But then if something really bad happens out of that relationship, i.e. for example, an STD is caught or a child outside of your relationship, that would really, exactly. So I will say to any woman, if you know you're not married yet and you're dating a man who is constantly cheating on you, you really need to think if that's the type of relationship you want to continue in.
I would say move on, sister.
That's right.
Now, infidelity is usually something that most people would say they do not and will not tolerate. Recently, Khloe Kardashian chose to forgive partner Tristan Thompson for publicly cheating on her while she was 9 months pregnant. According to a recent study, 22% of men and 28% of women said they would forgive and take back a cheating partner. So, have our attitudes towards infidelity changed? Folake, would you? Have you ever forgiven a guy that's cheated?
I haven't, but I wasn't married.
Yeah.
I feel like there are different circumstances to
Do you?
things. Yeah.
So
You have to weigh all the possibilities. You need to talk about it. You need to be open, and you need to understand. Now, if this is a thing where it's just blatant disrespect and it keeps on happening, let's
use Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian.
Are we going to use? If we're using Tristan,
My sister, use a better example for me, or if there's one that's better. But he did publicly shame her.
He publicly shamed her. I wouldn't have. I know she was 6 months pregnant, but they're not married. One.
Exactly.
Okay, true.
And she's in a very comfortable position. There's really nothing he's
She's got
offering
money,
her.
she's got everything.
So I don't understand why she stayed. I feel like it's only going to get worse. I may be wrong. I feel like it's only going to get worse. But for us, some women, like, this man is doing everything for them. Think about that. Doing everything for them, maybe slip-ups happen.
Okay.
You know, people mess up.
But what's a slip-up? What's a slip-up, Aisha? What's a slip-up? I don't want to use a derogatory term, but what could a slip-up be?
What is worse than cheating? I mean, cheating is cheating, isn't it? But a slip-up, is there any such word in cheating?
I slipped and fell in bed with a colleague.
Yeah, you know, I fell on top of her.
See, no, a colleague. That means something has been brewing.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's why I say you have to weigh all.
Does it matter then? So is it that love thing? Is it the
matters
love?
who the person is. It matters if there was an emotional connection. It matters if they planned on seeing each other again. It matters if it continued.
Yeah.
A slip up is a slip up. Like literally,
one
maybe
time
I was drunk and.
But isn't it? Yeah, but sometimes that's really bad as well because there's so much chemistry and they wanted it and they did it once and
it will go back again if it was good.
I hate admitting this, but the truth is, men are sexual and can be sexual without any emotional
Really?
attachment.
It doesn't matter how fine she is or how she looks.
I honestly believe that a man can be sexual without any emotional attachment. Wow. And am I going to leave somebody that loves me, that is doing a lot for me, that sees a future and we're building something because he had a physical body firewood?
I can imagine what people are going to say, but Aisha, let me come to you because you've written about this.
I have written about
your friend has been married for 10 years.
Yeah.
She has 2 children.
Yeah.
You've met the guy. You love him. You love the parents. You go to their weddings, their parties, their namings. Everything is on fire.
Yes.
She tells you she saw a text or something like that. What's your advice? Leave him?
No.
Or stick with your marriage?
Stick with your marriage because 10 years, I mean, I've been married for 13 years and I've written about it.
Congratulations,
like you said. Thank
sister.
you.
It's not easy.
But it was not easy. And I've encountered a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And if you've read my book, Finding the Balance, it spoke about infidelity and what it's led to in my marriage. And not only has it led to, cheating, but it led to a child being born.
In your marriage?
In my marriage. And it's, it affects everyone around you. So men really, and women, need to think seriously about what they're doing and how many lives you're affecting with your actions. So you might be having fun, yes, but you're causing a lot of emotional damages to a lot of people.
Well, that's really honest and brave of you for sticking.
I'm not giving up this seat.
You're never giving up the nonny seat.
No.
You're a nonny friend now. But like you can see that it's true. Like some infidelities can lead to pregnancies. Even with the Tristan Thompson thing, I know you don't want to go there, but let's go there. There were some girls saying that they were pregnant. Obviously, there's money. She probably shut those rumors down. Yeah. But it's not just, can I leave this guy? What about when there's babies involved? Is there a line where you say no? Is it the sister? You say no. Is it the best friend? No. He slept with my mum. Is there a line where it's like, no, you can't forgive, where everyone is saying no? What would you say is the line for you?
It's so hard to say. It's not black and white. Yes, I feel like it'll be easier for you to answer this question because you've been through it and you know why you stuck with it.
Of course.
And you know what, there's a reason. Now, if it's blatant, It's in your face. You've literally been pied. I'm sure that any respectable
Pied,
woman
you've been in London a long time.
any respectable woman would walk away.
Yeah, it's true. What did make you stay then?
Being with someone from since you were 16 years old,
Wow.
when you get into a relationship with someone at high school, you don't think in the long run, you know, you're a high school sweethearts, you're in love, you made plans, you plan your life ahead. Or let's get married, let's have 4 kids, let's ride off into the sunset, let's buy
4.
a house, you know, with a picket set. You know, you make plans. You don't, both intentions are good and pure, but then along the line things happen. But then what do? Do you give up the whole 18 years that you've known someone and you know that true person? You know, that's where you weigh out your options. So it's important that you know the person you're with and you know what they're capable of doing. And they also need to want to change after doing that.
Can I ask, you mentioned that you had a 13-year-old.
Yes.
I can't believe it. 13-year-old. You look 13. I'm joking. You've got a 13-year-old. When, is it a girl or boy?
A girl, yeah.
When your daughter becomes 16, which she will soon, and she's like, Mum, this is Dave.
Yes.
I want to marry Dave one day.
Yeah.
We're going to have kids. Would you be cautious of that relationship, knowing what you've been through and what can happen with a childhood sweetheart relationship?
Absolutely, and that's why I've written about it. So the whole book speaks about my whole journey. So it was important for me to document that, not just for everyone else to learn from it, but also for my children, for my daughter especially, because I don't want her to go through what I've been through. I want her to have a good, healthy marriage if she decides to get married, or a healthy relationship with hopefully one person. Whatever choices she wants to make, but I want those choices to be pure and good.
Well, it's really good speaking to you guys. That's it from me, Juliana Olayinka, and my fantastic guest, Nonny Newbies, Aisha Rebecca and Ade Folake. And don't forget, guys, Nonny's now online wherever you are in the world. Go to www.yangatv.com to check out every single episode. Join me next time for more Nonny Chat. Goodbye.